30 seconds and we'll be underway. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, 5 strategies to be more influential whenever you're standing up, doing public speaking, training, facilitating, workshopping. 5 strategies to be more influential. The consequence of not being influential is that nothing happens, nothing changes. And the purpose, the reason we speak is to create some change. So my definition of not being influential is that you're just hot air. You're standing up speaking, hot air is coming out, but nothing is changing. So I want to share with you 5 strategies to help you be more influential and have the impact that you want whenever you're speaking or presenting. I'll just share my PowerPoint slides. So how to be more influential. First of all, with my webinars, please ask questions, chat, put in the chat box. I think the chat box is working. If not, you can put it in the Q&A question box. Participate. Think about your own presentations. Are you being influential? Are you going to use any of these strategies to help you have more impact when you speak? As I mentioned, the consequence of not being influential is that nothing changes. So why be influential? Why is it important? It's how we change. And when something changes, there's often resistance. People don't like change. They're worried about change. And if you present that change in an influential way, then people are more likely to follow you, more likely to accept the change, more likely to give it a go. It can also motivate action. It can persuade audiences to change their thinking, and it can shift public opinion. We see politicians, some are influential, some are not so influential, and some of the strategies they use to shift that public opinion. So it's important that we are influential when we do public speaking. Now, a word of caution. Influence versus manipulation. The subtle difference. Unfortunately, what I'm going to teach you today can be used to manipulate people. And we don't want that to happen. We want you to influence people. So the difference between influence and manipulation, my definition is simply this. We influence people because in our heart, with our knowledge, with our expertise, we truly believe that this is the best way forward. We authentically and genuinely think that this is the right move, the right change, the correct knowledge to share with people. Manipulation, I benefit. I get the promotion. I get the pay rise. I get to benefit. So used car sales people, some may be manipulating people just to sell the car. Others will be genuinely trying to match the budget, the needs of the individual with a car that they can afford and one that they know has got a good service record. So not all car salespeople would be manipulators, but some just want the sale, commission-based. We know about selling houses and insurance policies that people can't afford and they don't really need, that would be manipulation. So there's a fine line between influence and manipulation. Influence with your knowledge, with your expertise, with your experience, you in your heart truly believe this is a good idea. This is the best way forward. This is the right solution for that group, for that team, for that individual. So as I mentioned, be cautious. It comes down to your intention. My intention is to help you. My intention is to support you. My intention is to offer you some solutions. My intention is to get a pay rise. My intention is to sell to you. That's the manipulation. Versus my intention is to help you. That is the benefit to you. So the only difference is your intention. My intent is here to support you with my knowledge, my expertise, my belief that these 5 strategies can help you be more influential when you do public speaking. The strategies come from Robert Cialdini. This book has been around for a while. There's more than 5 strategies to be more influential. The psychology of persuasion, influence persuasion, very similar, same thing. I've chosen 5 that I think can be used in the public speaking context. So the first one is establish your credibility. If you want to be influential, if you want people to follow you, why should they follow you? Why would they trust you? And if you've got high credibility, you've got a high level of trust, you're more likely to be able to get your message across and have the influence you want. So credibility is really important in influencing people, which makes it hard for new graduates, new engineers who come up with ideas for change, for improvement, and their credibility is maybe lacking because they're new in the job. So where does your credibility come from? I call it your credibility stack, and it's not just one thing. It's a whole range of things. So for myself in the public speaking space, I'm now in my 17th year of training public speaking. I am a person who stutters, so I come from a position of hardship. I've published and written 2 books. I'm on LinkedIn all the time. I have an MBA. I was in Toastmasters for 10 years. All of this comes from credibility. I've got testimonials from people who love my workshops. So what are you going to do to build your credibility so people say, aha, you know what you're talking about, you've got runs on the board, you're walking the talk, I'm prepared to trust you and follow you. Have you done some research? Are you consistent in what you say? Are you a fly-by-nighter, new into the job, or you've got extended experience? Are you curating content on LinkedIn? Are you creating content on LinkedIn? If I go to your LinkedIn profile, are you going to be seen as an expert, an influencer, a thought leader in the area that you want to teach me in the area you want to ask me to follow you? Are you writing publications? Do you have a blog post, a website? Are you a published author? In terms of the academia, research papers. And I did work in medical science for 30 years, and I do have a couple of published papers. Not that I'm going to talk to you about microbiology. What's your track record? So all of this adds to your credibility. If you want to be influential, you need to have some credibility behind you to ask people to follow you, to trust you, to change. Now, remember the new graduates, the new engineers? Sometimes you need to borrow credibility. So when you ask people to do something and they say to you, well, what would you know? You can then reply, well, I saw this research and this is what someone else is doing and it's working very well. So I think we should give it a try. In the mining sector, you might come up with an idea as a new engineer and the old people will say, well, what would you know? We've been doing it this way for 20 years. Why would we change? And you can then say, well, the only reason I've suggested it is because the Canadians have been doing it for 2 years. They've increased productivity by 5% and they've decreased costs by 2%. That's called borrowed credibility. And sometimes you can use that to also bring in influence. If the Canadians are doing it in their mining sector, if the British are doing it in their health sector, in their NHS, and they're getting good outcomes, then why not do the same thing? That's called borrowed credibility. So strategy number 1 to be influential, build your credibility. Strategy number 2, use the pros and cons. And if you are supporting an idea, then the pros, the advantages, need to outweigh the negatives. And if you do it well, the advantages will clearly influence the people. It'll become a no-brainer. I can see the benefits in doing this. This is going to be really advantageous and there's very little risk. Now, one of the tricks of being influential is you have the ability to stack, to increase the pros, the advantages, and diminish some of the disadvantages. In doing this, it becomes clearer that the advantages outweigh the risks. The positives outweigh the negatives. But you're only doing this because in your heart, in your mind, with your belief, with your knowledge, you think this is the right way to go. You're not stacking the pros and reducing the cons to manipulate people. You're trying to show people the advantages. And in a genuine good idea, a good change management process, the advantages should naturally outweigh the disadvantages. The benefits should outweigh the risks. So what are the advantages of your proposal? What are the benefits? And it can work the other way. You might be advising against something and the risks and the disadvantages and the costs are so great that it's not worth trying that. So you're trying to influence people away from doing something. Both pros and cons are ways of influencing. Your role is to outline where one argument clearly overrides the other. When you do that, with your intent to be influential, you're more likely to have impact. Strategy 3, use of social proof. So I mentioned the Canadians are doing it this way and it's working really well. Productivity's gone up 5%, costs have gone down 2%. That's borrowed credibility, but it's also social proof. Someone else is doing it. Interestingly, they did a survey. This is in Robert Cialdini's book. They did a survey to work out what would reduce use of electricity. And they gave people 4 reasons. And the first reason was it's better for the environment. The second reason was it's going to save you money. The third reason was it's going to preserve some energy for our children. And the fourth reason to save power, save energy is the neighbours they're saving energy. And of all of those 4 reasons, the one that had the greatest impact, the greatest influence was, well, if the neighbours are doing it, we'd better do it as well. And that's kind of your social proof. It's also called the power of the mob. If everyone else is doing this, then you're more likely to be able to bring the people you're trying to influence to do the same thing. It's social proof. It's evidence that it's already working. Once again, you're using social proof to influence people because you believe it is the right way forward for that group, for that team, for that individual. No benefit to you whatsoever. It is purely to benefit your audience, your listener, your clients. So where can you get social proof? Where else is there evidence that what you're proposing is going to work, is a good idea, is worth pursuing? Strategy number 4, it's called the rule of reciprocity. Simply, it's what's in it for them, or as you're sitting there, what's in it for me? Fundamentally, your audience, people, are selfish. They go to a seminar out of self-interest. I go to a financial planning seminar out of self-interest. I go to a retirement planning seminar out of self-interest. I want to know, what have you got for me to help me in my financial planning, to help me get ready for retirement? Your audience is also selfish. What have you got for me? How are you going to help solve my problem? How are you going to help me achieve my goals, my key performance indicators, hit my targets? So if you cater to what's in it for me, what's in it for them, it's a marketing strategy. And rather than you telling people what to do, you flip the equation and people say, aha, I need that. And it comes to pull marketing, where the audience says, okay, I want some of that. I need some of that. A classic example of what's in it for me that I experienced was when I went to a seminar when I started my business. I'd been doing manual accounting and manual bookkeeping and saving money, Excel spreadsheets, and I also had MyOb, and it was really tedious and hard work. And I was doing it myself. And I went to a seminar and an accountant spoke about Xero accounting software, Xero, in the cloud accounting software. And he said, this will take your business activity statement, your business accounting, and it'll slash it time-wise, effort-wise by 75%. Now, in my case, it slashed it from 2 days to 2 hours. Now, Xero is expensive. So I've gone from a cheap solution to an expensive solution. But the thing is, the pain he took away from me in doing my own accounting was so great that the money, the cost of Xero, is irrelevant. So what's in it for your audience? What's their pain point? What's their goals? And how does your message help them achieve what they want? Strategy number 4, what's in it for me? And the last strategy that influences people, and you'll have seen this all the time, it's scarcity. You need to act now. Sail on for 24 hours. And then there's a countdown, 17 hours to go. Then you get a reminder email. Need to act soon. If we don't take this opportunity now, it's going to pass. And you can see that with the climate change debate at the moment. We need to act now. There is a scarcity of time. Doing nothing is not an option, and 30-year strategy is too late. So that's scarcity. So what can you do to create that scarcity, that need to act now, And in terms of, social policies, homelessness, people that are struggling to survive, that scarcity is right now. And if you've got some policies or procedures or strategies to alleviate some of that, then scarcity would work really well in influencing policymakers to do something about it. So there are 5 strategies to be more influential whenever you're presenting, workshopping, public speaking. Snapshot. It's important to be influential, otherwise you're hot air. Number 2, recognise the difference between influence and manipulation. And remember, this can be used to manipulate. So check your intention. The 5 strategies. Credibility. Establish credibility. Pros and cons. Make sure that the advantages make it so clear that this is a good idea. Social proof. The rule of reciprocity. What's in it for me? And scarcity. So there's 5 strategies to be more influential. So can I ask you, every time you're preparing a presentation, what is the tool you're going to use to be more influential? Upcoming workshops, Perth, 15th of September, 17th of September, 18th of September, winning presentation skills, thinking off the cuff. We've got Darwin, how to have difficult conversations, Port Hedland, 1st and 2nd of October, and Melbourne, 16th of October, upcoming workshops. Feel free to find those on the website, share them with any colleagues who you think might benefit. Next upcoming webinar, inclusive public speaking for neurodiverse individuals. Neurodiversity is a big thing at the moment. More and more people are realizing that they are neurodiverse. And we keep presenting in the same way. So I've got some ideas and tips to make your presentation more inclusive for people who are neurodiverse. Neurodiversity is from attention deficit syndrome, from autism spectrum, from people who stutter, from people with different learning disabilities, from obsessive compulsive, a whole range of people participate in society that are different in terms of brain activity, neurodiversity. So that's on the 10th of September. You know how to contact me. Any further questions, I'd love to hear from you. And we're going to finish a little bit early. So just remember that influence is an important part of public speaking. If you're not influential, then you're not hot air. What are you going to do to make your next presentation, your next workshop more influential? Thanks for your participation, and this webinar is recorded. So can I ask you all to go out there and make a difference to your world, one conversation at a time. Thank you.